few minutes to kill, if you like, so I thought I'd talk to you about it. Right, so the people I'm going to be helping, okay. Right, I don't know if that went through, but never mind. Yes, the people I'm helping have a problem with their dog being reactive to other dogs. So that it's always a question of the people, dog owners have a problem which really they can't solve themselves, and it colours their lives. In this particular case, you know, they can't enjoy their walks because the dog is so reactive to other dogs. So this is the process. I don't waste too much time having pleasant chat. We go straight into it, and I put the record on just before I forget. And then we have a good look at everything. First of all, I ask the people, and usually I like to have the whole family present if possible, including children if they're not too young. And we find out just what the problem is. So we can then put it sort of in a nutshell. In this one, it's going to be the problem is her reactivity to other dogs. So then we're going to look at all sorts of things in the dog's life, because it's about a lot more than just going out on a walk and planting her near another dog and trying to do something. It has roots in other parts of her life. It's all to do with confidence, general fearfulness probably. There's going to be background history. There's going to be perhaps not quite sufficient trust in that people who are holding the lead, basically having her trapped. And they need to start from the beginning, which people often don't realise that they don't actually start dealing with something head on. So we need to go all round it. So in a way I do a bit of an MOT. And these are the things we cover. This is my list. First of all, make sure there's I know about any medical conditions. We look about where in the house the dog goes, how much, if the dog has any boundaries, barriers. We look at what sort of environment they live in. For instance, in a dog that's reactive to other dogs, it's very, very relevant if she's looking out of the window barking at dogs going past, or if she does a lot of barking in the garden. So those are things we need to be looking at. We look at where the dog sleeps, whether the dog sleeps well. We look also at the morning routine is. Very importantly, we look at not only what the dog eats, because the sort of food can affect the mind. I mean, we know if we have a child who has ADHD or something, we're not going to feed it lots of orange things and food colourings and E numbers. So good food actually helps stability. So we look at that, and we also look at how they feed the dog, because feeding in 2 bowls a day may actually be wasting a great opportunity to give the dog confidence in chewing, foraging, and actually working for its food. So we look at all those things. We look also at what people do with the dog, what sort of play, whether they use the dog's brain, all things which are really relevant, because the more stable the dog, the more he can cope with the challenges really of other dogs, which we'll look at in a minute. We also go through, make sure if there's any sort of aggression or resource guarding, that we know what to do about that. If the dog doesn't like being groomed, we look about that. If the dog doesn't like being in the car or is scared, we have a plan for that. And in this one, we know it's going to be about the walk really. So it starts before they go out. What equipment does the dog use? You know, what do they use for the dog? For instance, if she's scared of another dog, and sometimes what they do, they lunge towards it rather than away, because attack may be the best form of defence. You know, she sees a dog and it hurts her neck, for instance, that's going to build up some really bad associations. Same if she's got a head halter, she's going to feel very, very trapped. So the whole way we're going to have to deal with this is to start at the beginning. We make sure that she's comfortable. We also don't introduce dogs until we know that she's comfortable walking, the whole walking thing, and she's also feeling quite happy in the environment she's in. And then we introduce things one at a time. I saw on Facebook the other day quite an interesting little analogy. You wouldn't, say you were teaching your child to swim. Now you wouldn't, even in the shallow end, with no armbands, just push him in and hope for the best. That is basically what we do with our dogs when we take them too close. What we do, first of all, we have the armbands, and then we would probably either sit on the side and watch, or especially if he's a little bit timid, or maybe we'd find the paddling pool and hopefully it's a little slope going into it and let him just paddle and feel his feet in the water, and then, you know, make it fun, and gradually, bit by bit, he will get his confidence. All right, so that's basically what we have to do. We don't push the dog in the deep end, basically, by going to other dogs. We need to find a distance that the dog is happy. Now, people, perhaps their environment makes it very, very difficult. But I do believe where there's a will, there's a way. It's if you cannot go too close, and then you work on it properly at the distance where the dog copes, then people begin to make progress. So I'm not actually going into detail of exactly how here, because it's not always the same for every dog. Some dogs need different type of help to other dogs, and so I will see with the people I'm going to be meeting quite soon just what it is that's happening. Anyway, if you have a problem that is too much for you, for £75 and the recording so you can watch it any time, it can totally transform the situation. You know that you're going to be given advice that's going to be the best advice there is from my experience. I mean, I've been in the houses and seen over 3,000 dogs, many more than 3,000. So now I'm doing it online. I actually can tap into what I remember. So you tell me what's the problem, I can visualize it. I've seen it many times probably. And so I don't actually need to be in the presence of the dog. Well, occasionally I might, but by and large I don't, especially as if it's anything a little unusual, I can also have a video. So I'm drawing on very large amount of experience, which means that my online sessions are much more valuable than, say, somebody who hasn't been doing this very long and is doing it online, because they haven't got that fund of experience to draw from. So that's it really. If you'd like to know more, you can book a messenger call with me so we can have a chat first. And now I think I better get myself properly set up. Bye.